Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions. So here's a question for you, Mary Jo. You ready for it?
Sure. Let's do it.
Can apologetics mess up your spiritual life?
Yes and no. So let's do both of those.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, first of all, apologetics can mess up your spiritual life if you become more concerned about making the argument than the person that you're making the arguments to, right? But that's kind of messing up your spiritual life and how you interact with other people. It can also mess up your spiritual life for you personally when you neglect the side of the arguments that's supposed to minister to you, which is getting to know your Lord and Savior, right? So it can mess you up there. Now, know in that apologetics should spur you on to the knowledge of God, which should grow your relationship with God, and it should mature you as a Christian and not be a detriment to your spiritual life. And what I got this question from a student at a camp, but he actually asked me how the Kalam cosmological argument affects my spiritual life.
A student?
Yeah, a student asked me this, and I said, well, you know, and here's the answer, right? Because that's an awesome question. So I told him, I said, well, you know, how it affects me is that because everything that begins to exist has a cause, and the universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. What that does is it pushes me on to find out, well, what is that cause? Now, in the Christian worldview, that's a personal God, and it means that God intended to create us. It means He intended for me to be here. So I want to get to know that God, who is a spiritual being. I want to get to know who He is. And so I can't just live in the physical realm. I actually have to develop both sides of my life and come to more of an understanding of the fullness of what it means to be human, which, and the fullness of what it means to be part of God's creation. So it spurs me on to learn about who I am and who I am as one of God's creations.